Today I'm going to talk about how to stay in contact with past clients. So really early this morning, I got a message through Facebook Messenger, and it was by a very thoughtful individual who is very conscientious, and he said, "Hey Pete, how do you stay in contact with past clients?" I thought it was a great question. Well, I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to deal in one specific market segment, and that's the rental market. Quite often we get in to deal with a tenant who's about to vacate a premises. Occasionally it's a regular maintenance, but generally it'll be at the end of their tenancy agreement. And the number one driving reason is that they want to get their rental bond back. They want to secure that bond because they've got a big outlay moving to their new place. Beyond that is they're not very good at house cleaning, or they couldn't be bothered doing it, or they're really time poor, so they have good income, but they're time poor. And your services might be carpet cleaning, general cleaning, window cleaning, pressure cleaning, gardening, whatever it is, you all fit into that marketplace. So I'm going to talk about three key time frames, or three key times to touch base with that client. The first critical one when they move to their new tenancy is 3 months or 90 days. You see, in the state I'm in Victoria in Australia, and I know around Australia, the first inspection by a property manager and often a landlord will be at the 3-month mark. And the reason they're doing that, they just want to see how things are going. It's just a litmus test to see how you are and how they are as a tenant and how things are going. So normally at about 2.5 months into it, or 70 days, I send them an email, a text or a phone call and say, "Hey Jill, hey John, this is Pete. We did your last place. We know you got an inspection coming up. Is there anything, do you need any services? Do you need carpet, windows, whatever it is that you do?" And normally in that, they're not in that place that long. They're still often unpacking things, but they just may want a little spruce up. So generally the services you do, if they do engage your services, is often quite small, not a lot of money, but it's a contact point. Brings us to the second one, 6 months. 6 months is normally the big inspection. So once again, landlord will come through with a property manager and have a look at the property. And here's why it's important. Because at that juncture, they're judging the tenant's worthiness to see whether they're going to offer them a new rental agreement at the 12-month mark. A lot of tenants don't know this, but it's the reality. Are they good enough? So they've been in the place long enough for just to get into the swing of things, in other words, living like they normally do. And so often soiling happens at that time. You've got kids and dogs and whatever it is, places tend to get a little bit messy if that's just how it is. They haven't got time to do the gardens. Whatever service you offer, it's at that point you'll know about it. So normally at about the 5.5 month mark, send through a message again. "Hey Jill, hey John, it's Pete. We know we've got the big inspection coming up. Is anything we can do to help you?" And at that time, you're going to get, you will always get a larger percentage than even at the 3-month mark for you to come in and spruce the place up. The next big one is 12 months. Now, why that's important between the 6 and the 12-month mark is simply this. A decision is going to be made. Are we going to offer another lease agreement? And so between 4 and 6 weeks out, so normally at the 10.5 or the 11-month mark, send through another thing. "Hey Jill, hey John, it's Pete. We know you're coming up for your annual inspection. We're happy to help you." And I find a lot of people contact back at that point, and here's the reason why. In my experience is about 30% of tenants who are going to move of their own volition. They could be for various reasons. They're going to move to a bigger place, move to another area. Could be that if they've got housemates, it's just not working out and they're going to move on. And that's a decision they've made for themselves. Often at that point in time, sometimes people have bought a home for themselves. They've been saving. And I find that, "Hey, we want to engage your services here, but we've got a new place. Could you bring the whole team in?" And we've done that tons of times where we've done a full sanitation clean of the property. I've got my painters in. We do like a reno on the property, and that's very profitable. And so that's great. If they move to another tenancy, they get used to how good you do things, and they want their new place to be as good as the place they moved out of. And so quite often you'll go in before they do, and you'll do everything because they're just clean freaks, a bit like me, and they want it all done. And there's about 70% of tenants who will move, if they're going to move, and it's not of their own volition, because they haven't maintained the place. And you may not have gone out and serviced them all year, but here's the key thing, it's an expensive time for them. You can't get away from it. But they want their bomb back. And so you go in and you do what you've got to do to help them along the way. Through some of this, I'll show you some of the text and how I structure them. That'll be through here. So hopefully that's helpful. So in this market segment, 3 key areas, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Make sure you stay in contact rather than doing a rental as just being a one-off deal. It can go on. And I've had some of my clients for years and years and years. We follow them all over the place until they've bought their own home. And that's a really exciting time. Beyond that too, because we're really fastidious, we're really good with what we do, I end up picking up a whole bunch of real estate agents because the property managers go, hey, we do other work. So there are agencies around Melbourne. We literally do everything, and we are not cheap at all. And we tend to get the high quality properties that rent out for heaps and heaps. And also, we often find that we end up building up a good relationship with landlords. And so there's many landlords out there who are multiple property owners. We've got some landlords who own 20 and more properties. And when they want things done properly, they'll bring us in and do it up because they're conscientious, they have a long-term view of the rental market, and they're a true investor. So something really simple. Hopefully that's helpful. If there's any questions you want to ask, just yell out. So keep it simple, stay in touch, do the best you can, and I definitely think that your business is due for an uptick.